Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Utherverse Live here on X. I am your host, Other Jake, here with CEO, founder, and co-host Brian Shuster. How you doing, Brian?
Hi, Jake. I'm doing well. How you doing this week?
Doing great, doing great. If you guys are just tuning in, Otherverse is a fully decentralized company, so we are multinational, is how you say it, right, Brian?
Well, sure.
So I'm currently in Los Angeles, and Brian, you are in Canada.
Yeah, I'm up here in Vancouver again today. Another nice day, except holy moly, um, we are living in the worst air quality in the world
That's
again.
right, because those fires, right?
Yeah, yeah. I don't get political, but the forest mismanagement, the carbon policies up here in Canada are so backwards. Instead of investing in firefighting equipment and preventing the arboreal forest up here from burning every year, the Canadian government squanders the opportunity, emits a huge amount of carbon dioxide this way, and instead, tells us not to use plastic straws. I mean, it's
Yeah, it sounds much like California. Being from California.
Yeah, I just don't understand. If your concern is for the environment, don't burn down the arboreal forest. you
Yeah,
know,
yep.
that should be the top priority. But maybe one day I'll be prime minister up here. In the meantime, I won't get any further political. But it is living in soup right now, and oh my goodness, an otherwise beautiful on an otherwise beautiful day. There.
Easy for you to say. Oh, right on, right. And before we get started here, let's do a little housekeeping. Um, we're doing giveaways like we do every other week here on Otherverse Live here on X. We have two prizes and one grand prize. In order, I bet you're probably asking, how do you win? In order to qualify to win, you have to do a few things. You have to repost this space. You have to tag 3 friends, like, and make sure you're following Otherverse. This puts you in the running and makes you eligible to win today's prize. We're giving away Uther token like we do every week, and we do the giveaways live here on X, meaning tagging your friends qualifies you, but we announce it live in the space to give the perks to the people listening and paying attention. So. If you hear your name called as a winner, you'll hear instructions, and that's how we announce the winner. So, with the housekeeping taken care of, Brian, go right on ahead.
All right. Well, yeah. Today, what an episode we've got. I mean, we've got incredible stuff to be discussing. We're making so much progress on so many fronts, and obviously, there's been a lot of attention getting paid to a particular matter that we will, I think, get to in a later segment, because I'm not sure that's where I want to start.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
um, I want to start. I've seen a lot of questions about the pre-sale of the nodes. Of course, um, we are starting to break ground on the Uther chain, and this is going to be our layer 2 blockchain that will um, uh, essentially operate not only all of the Uther token transactions, but the transactions for all the coins that end up being minted by sovereigns, which end up on our platform, in our system. And of course, as a layer 2 blockchain, we're going to need validator nodes. So there are going to be a total of 50,000 validator nodes. And we sort of sneaked out a pre-sale offer to people who tuned in last week and people who are in our Discord and sort of close community members, and that we ended up extending that sale a little bit, where the price of the nodes was only $300, an absolutely insane number, but there it is, and we also offered and continue to offer an option where if you buy a node you will have the opportunity to purchase another node anytime before the chain goes live, at the same price that you purchased your original node. There were also opportunities and are opportunities to resell nodes or to sell nodes to third parties through an affiliate program where it's paying a commission. So I've been getting a lot of questions now that pre-sale price is obviously the 72-hour window expired. Um, so what I did is I put a link up on the top of the Otherverse.io website today, so that any user, any listener who is interested in participating, we're going to offer a limited number of nodes at a pre-sale price now of 500. So over the next 2 weeks, we will be going into the proper pre-sale sale. The proper pre-sale is going to be hosted on our site. It's going to be very professional. It's going to be, all streamlined on chain with commissions paid through smart contract. In this version of the pre-sale, some of these things are manual. So I know people had to wait a little bit before they could, give a credit card, or obviously if they paid, if you paid through crypto, that was immediate. All of those issues are being resolved as we, have engaged proper developers to develop all of the smart contracts and get everything really up to speed. But we did want to have this window of opportunity for people to get in on the node sale even before we have everything battened down in the way that I typically like to launch things out, where it's done more professionally and solidly. So I appreciate. Wow, we moved a lot of nodes. So congratulations to everybody who picked up one, picked up multiples. It's very exciting. Obviously, you can check out the website to see all of the allocations and what the earnings are going to be like as this chain launches. But it's really nice to have that forward momentum at the same time that we're seeing so much activity with the software, so much development on the software side and the progress on the software side. And I'll be reporting on that also today.
Yeah, great, great overview. Yeah, and also Brian, we didn't really announce this, so that's actually really good. I'm sure people have that question because, we did a kind of a cryptic thing last week, right? Where
Yeah.
we made a link into the for the Discord, and then in the Discord we had it, and we only made it in the chat, and then we made an announcement this that Sunday because we were just trying to. It was a pre-sale, and it was meant to be low key to kind of. I guess what I'm saying is, if you're listening to this, you're like, well, how did I not see it? It's because it wasn't really announced or publicized or marketed for a purpose. And what Brian's saying right now, I think, correct me if I'm wrong though, Brian, is that, you haven't, it's not too late. We're still doing the pre-sale. It's coming. So, we'll
Well,
have,
yeah, I'll correct you there.
yeah,
We're still in the pre-sale. It's just now we're offering this really low price at 500.
yeah, yep.
So there are a limited quantity that are available now for $500 a node before they knock up to a small number. We're likely to release at 750, and then in the actual pre-sale, we're probably looking around 1,000, and then it's going up to 2,500. So still $500 a node with an option to buy another one at 500. I mean, real value there. But yeah, we wanted to reward everybody who's been with the project for a long time and participating in Discord, and with a little bit of even a further value discount in the first 72 hours.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so if that's the case, with that being said, I'm going to make a post here with the node link, and then I'm going to pin it to the bird's nest. So if anyone here is listening has not gotten the chance to, we'll make it really streamlined for you.
And if anybody's been participating in like Texit Coin or any of these things, keep in mind that there is a resale opportunity here too. So if you've been selling Texit nodes, we're we're offering a great commission structure. I don't want this show to sound like a
Yeah.
sales pitch show, so I think we'll move on from all of this here.
Sure. Um,
Um, yeah, so another thing, of course, that I've been getting a lot of questions about that I really want to address before we start to talk about the platform, the software, and then ultimately we're going to be talking about Raydium trademarks and this type of thing. Um,
sure. Before you do, we have some questions that
oh,
popped up. You want to
oh,
hop?
okay.
I mean, yeah. Maybe we get to them, and we kind of sprinkle questions in between each segment.
Yeah, however you want to do it.
Yep, let's do that. All right, Riz, you're up here speaking with Brian. You want to ask him what you got? We'll get
All
to
right.
you.
Hello, GM Brian, GM Uther. Am I audible?
Yep, we hear you. Welcome.
All right, lovely space so far. I've been a consistent attendant member of the community, and I must say, you guys are actually doing building it the right way, and not we do not. That's quite bullish. So my question is as well, like in terms of the trademark with Radium, because I had interacted with some of the tweets, literally all the tweets about the trademark issue with Radium. So, as a community member that is concerned, would really want to know like what's the way out? Are they actually replying, and how to get to a ground level with them?
Right, right. So, I mean, I know that there's going to be a lot of questions about that, and really like to address that all in a segment after we've done a giveaway. Um, but yes, Otherverse has been using Raise as our digital currency for almost 2 decades, and as we contemplate moving Raise on chain. Obviously, we encounter a problem where there is a huge consumer confusion with another token that's on chain that goes by the same name. Um, so, in order to clear that up, we've engaged a campaign. Now, Radium, of course, is essentially an anonymous entity. There's no legal department contact. There's no people that we can get in touch with. We took every action that we could to get in touch with them behind the scenes. Um, but I'll explore all of that. I'll discuss all of that in more detail um, in the next segment. I appreciate you following all of the tweets here. One thing that I would love to mention now, as long as we're talking about the subject, though, is in order for this to resolve amicably and in a way that is just a win-win. I mean, I love Radium. I love what they're doing. I love Solana. I love the ecosystem. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of crypto. I have been offering, and I've got a spectacular plan that is just going to be a huge win for Radium and for Otherverse and for our token and their token. But I can't negotiate and offer proposals to nobody. So I've got to get in touch with them. They've got to get in touch with me, and we're going to continue to ratchet up the campaign until we have this sorted. And I'll get into some details later. But what would really help is if everybody, when you see a post, even go back to the post that I've made over the last several days, like it, comment on it, and repost it. The more reposts we can get on this matter, the more likely it is that it's going to get the attention of the appropriate people. And before the radium ecosystem is damaged irreparably, um, uh, I'd prefer to work out something. I really think they need to get in touch with me urgently because I'll outline more of what our roadmap is to enforce our intellectual property. Um, but I really would prefer to have everything happen on friendly terms. There's so much money to be made for Radium. There's so much money to be made for us, for the our token holders. It's a shame that it appears that it's going in this direction. So I'd really love everybody's help. If you're listening, look at my tweets and comment on them, comment about how great Raydium is, even, um, and repost it so that we get their attention.
Very good. Great question. And, and we'll dive in more to that as well, Riz. But I want to just also say, we have a lot of questions here today. So we're going to limit the questions. And then, because we have so many people requesting to get up, we can only have 8 people up without this thing crashing at a time. So I'm just going to, once the questions are asked, I'll remove you guys and then bring somebody else up as we progress. And at the end, if we have time, you want to request again, all good. I just want to make sure we have time for everything.
Great. Okay, so maybe what we should do is give away some give away some Uther.
Yep.
Then I'll give a quick, just a quick rundown of the progress that we've been making, and then I'll flip over and talk about the Raydium, the trademark, and intellectual property stuff.
Yep. Okay. Well, I already got a winner picked.
All right.
So congratulations. I think this is a new listener. I've not seen. We're seeing a lot of new faces here. Really great. So drum roll, please. Congratulations to at Watermark 178 Lilypad at Watermark 178. Congratulations, you have won the third prize today.
All right.
Congratulations. And in order to claim, please go ahead and we followed you. Go ahead and DM us here at Utherverse, and we will coordinate your winnings. Congratulations.
All right. Well, congratulations, and congratulations to everybody who's a token holder. I mean, we're really starting to see the momentum pick up. We're approaching 3,000 unique wallet holders, and of course, I see that number just continuing to grow, and then start to grow very rapidly. And the token price, of course, has been moving in the right direction. I see no reason why that would not continue. We continue to drive traffic to our platform. The platform continues to grow. But my update on software is that we've been making really good progress on the software. We're going to see a big upgrade to the social center over the next couple of days. And that's not going to require a patch. We've been upgrading the back end. So logins now, I know that, last week I was talking about, when we are going to launch this to the masses in a major way. And we had a couple of issues that were coming up in our stress tests. If too many people were trying to log in simultaneously, that they were getting hung up. Obviously, we can't have an event with 100,000 people at a specific time. The concert starts at 8, and if everybody's trying to log in at 8, we can't. If we can't accommodate that, that's a problem. That problem has been fixed. This led to the discovery, well, we knew that this was going to be the case, of a couple of other similar kind of related issues. The particular issue with region changing. So after you log in, that's not a problem. But then when you try to move between different virtual worlds and different sovereigns, for example, it could throw up an error. This is a related problem, so that's getting solved now. Obviously, we want everybody to be able to jump around without any delay, without any problem, even if there's millions of users online, which I think could happen very rapidly. So, before while we're still in beta, before we really release this, suddenly have an event with 5 million users and have people, having a problem getting into the region, we want to solve all of these sort of stress issues, load issues. So that's getting worked on right now. And then the platform, I believe that we'll ultimately have a couple of, let's break the server events where we try to get thousands of people online simultaneously and run through all this stuff with real live people instead of running through it with our scripted users. But that'll be a lot of fun. We'll try to see, if we can find any cracks in any of the server architecture, the network architecture, and then we're going to blast this out. And we've got a whole autumn of music schedule planned. We've got artist shows planned. We've got so much fun stuff that's just going to attract massive crowds. Artists big and small, musicians big and small, comedians big and small. And of course, it's a phenomenal social platform. So if you haven't downloaded Xeon, if you haven't tried the platform yet, come and check it out. It's a lot of fun. There's more and more users every day, which I find to be really exciting. You can show up any time of the day or night now, and there's people in the world just enjoying the features that we already have, but so many more features coming down the pipeline in short order. That's really going to take this to next level and then beyond. Um, so that's, I guess, a quick recap, because I know there's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And let's see, the other topic that I had touched on last week. So we have begun minting out the full set of tokens. Um, we are experiencing two issues that have prevented us from minting out the full amount and getting rid of that flag, and then getting registered and authenticated with the official symbol UTHR. One of the problems is just a bug on Jupiter's registration, and we're working to get that resolved. Um, you know, I suppose I won't go into detail, but it just has been erroring out. So we're going to get that obviously resolved with Jupiter, so that we can have this token symbol authenticated and registered. And then the mint issue is, I've mentioned over the last several spaces that we dot the I's, cross the T's on security. We want to make sure that everything is secured. We have a wallet registered with all of the authorities, um, so that when we mint to this wallet, it does not apply as circulating token supply. So it doesn't artificially look like our market cap suddenly has gone up, because we minted out the balance of the tokens. But that wallet is not the wallet that we have the all of the security on, the multi-sig, all of the precautions, so that those tokens can never be misappropriated. We are in the process, and it's a slow process. This is not our fault. We're in the process of working with all of the various authorities, CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko, and all of these entities that report market cap, to be aware of the new Mint wallet. So once that's done, we're going to be able to mint out the balance very quickly, and then those flags will be removed. You'll see it on Dex tools. You'll see it on everywhere that those flags have come down. And at that point, the token is off to the races. There's not going to be anything else to do except burn hundreds of millions of tokens, and start doing play to earn, and all of that fun stuff that we're all on the edge of our seats waiting for. But that I don't anticipate is going to take very long. It's just a matter of having their teams acknowledge the new wallet address.
Sure. Very good. Okay, great. We have a lot of questions here, Brian. You want to hop in some more questions?
Well, if the questions are not about radium, I could take them. Otherwise, I think I should probably describe the situation, and then we can take questions.
Okay, sounds good.
So that's a yes?
Yeah, I have a feeling they're mostly about. I feel like we're all gonna we're gonna take a question that's gonna be about this topic, so we might as well dive into it, and we'll take them on the back end.
All right, sure. So with the caveat that, of course, I am not a lawyer, and with the caveat that I'm going to talk about stuff, but I don't. With me not being a lawyer, I may say things that are not exactly on point. This is not to be used against me if I'm testifying in court. It's not to be used against me in any kind of deposition. This is all off the top of my head, and without running by legal counsel. So that is the general disclaimer here.
All right.
So, of course, we've been in this metaverse space, the virtual world web space, for almost, or actually over 20 years now. We introduced our first digital currency, our first virtual currency, Raise, about 16 years ago. Raise are a virtual currency that are used to conduct and transact business in our metaverse. Immediately, we put up a Raise exchange, and this is, was a marketplace. And of course, this was before Bitcoin. This was before any cryptocurrency. This was before decentralized ledgers entirely. Though we did map out a plan to have Raise become ultimately a global currency for the internet. That plan has now morphed so that it's Uther, which is going to become this global internet currency. And I talk about that all the time. If you're unfamiliar, go back and I recommend you listen to prior spaces that I've done. But as far as Raise go, we've operated a marketplace where people buy and sell Raise for US dollars. And this is a big part of it is the economy within Utherverse Classic. I recommend, everybody check out Utherverse Classic. It's a phenomenal platform. It really is the original real metaverse as far as these things go. And users need to conduct commerce inside a metaverse. So we have all kinds of cottage industries. We have clothing designers and people that will build out a virtual world for you, wedding planners, DJs, and all of this operates on a commerce system for which Raise are the fundamental unit of account, the fundamental store of value. The economy centers around Raise. We have recently been contemplating moving Raise on chain. And as we start to look at this, we, of course, realize that there is an identical token that is being run by Raydium. It trades under the symbol Ray, which is the singular for our token Raise, our currency Raise. And this is confusing to consumers. It creates a lot of consumer confusion that they don't know which token is which, and particularly when we go on chain, this is going to be an absolute disaster. But we have registered the trademark. We applied to register it almost 20 years ago, I want to say. Maybe 19, 18 years ago. I don't remember exactly. And we were granted the mark. We published the mark. We went out and did all of the things that are necessary in order to perfect the mark. And at this point, of course, the mark is many years old. The Web3 reminds me of the state of the internet back in the early mid 90s, where internet companies generally had the attitude that we're on the internet, we're in cyberspace, real world rules don't apply to us. We don't need to worry about contracts, and we don't need to worry about laws. I remember online pharmacies coming up where you could basically order any drug you wanted, and it would just be delivered to your house. You didn't need a prescription. Casinos, like all of this wild west stuff. But in order for the internet actually to grow up and mature and become a source of real value for companies, eventually internet companies needed to recognize national laws. They needed to recognize intellectual property, and those kind of guardrails created massive value for the internet. Web3 really reminds me of the same. How can you have a multi-billion-dollar company that is run by anonymous anonymous accounts, accounts that have no ability to contact them over issues like trademark infringement? So we're really looking at this. We need to protect our intellectual property. I mean, we've invested a huge amount of time and a huge amount of money in um, our brand, and part of our brand, of course, is the currency raise. Um, this is like no different from Disney or Marvel. It's no different from Pepsi. Um, you have a brand. You can't have that brand diluted by other players coming out in the same space doing the same thing essentially, and using your mark. So we're really in a position where we're obligated to protect our intellectual property and protect our mark. I was really expecting. I mean, I've got a proposal which is such a great win-win. I mean, without going into the nitty-gritty details of it, I can paint some broad strokes of the kind of ways that this is such a win for Raydium just to take a license to our mark. I mean, I'm really not looking to do anything that is beyond the pale here. I just want recognition and want to work together and make sure that our trademark is not diluted. So imagine if Raydium, for example, and Utherverse team up, and Raydium takes a license to the mark and they pay a little bit of money. We build them a trading platform and a sovereign in which they can launch new tokens or announce new token launches, have meetups, have conventions and trade shows, and really provide added value to every token that is trading in the Raydium ecosystem. This is a huge value, of course, for Utherverse. It's a huge value for Raydium. It's a huge value for every token that trades on their ecosystem, and all of our, everybody who holds Uther. I mean, this would drive enormous numbers of people to the platform, and it would expose enormous numbers of people to Raydium and to any tokens that they're promoting. And sort of a last pillar of a win-win would be if Raydium would put in some liquidity using their token as a Raydium liquidity for Uther. Just that kind of action alone could potentially, skyrocket the value of the token, Uther. And at that point, Raydium has made a huge profit just for putting in, some liquidity and announcing it. They could even take out, the amount of liquidity that they put in, because, if I mean, this is not investment advice, or this is forward looking and speculative. But if the token went up 10x because Raydium gets behind it with liquidity, they've 10x their money. They could pull out the original investment and be sitting everything else's profit. So things like this where we could negotiate just such a positive collaboration. And instead of having this trademark issue be a looming potential event that takes them completely out of the market. And I mean, if you see some of the proposals that my lawyers are giving me for actions that we're entitled to take, and that we could take, that I've vetoed, at least for now. It's absolutely devastating. I mean, the stuff that I've posted about is like, these are shots across the bow. These are sort of the, we would like to get your attention. These are not, we're going to, absolutely go nuclear. So, I'm hopeful that we never have to go nuclear, but, I'm honestly under a fiduciary obligation to protect our intellectual property. If anybody has any questions about the mark, about what it was used, how it's being used, how it was used historically, I mean, it's easy to ask AI. I've seen some comments on my posts that are just ignorant. Uh, but the intellectual property attorneys that I've got here are, they know what they're doing, and we've outlined a strategy. And I think ultimately this inures so much value to the Uther token either way. Whether Raydium comes to me open arms and we can work out a mutually wonderful collaboration, or whether it turns into a fight that would be devastating for Raydium. Unfortunately, I think it would also really damage Jupiter. It would also really damage Solana. And I just don't want to do that. I mean, I'm such a fan of the Solana ecosystem. I'm such a fan of Raydium, and it boggles my mind that they're not communicative. You know, when I reached out on Telegram, I was basically told, you know, well, I won't even repeat what I was told. When I reached out on Discord, you know, uh, no positive response. But you know, the companies that we're reaching out to now that are, you know, potentially contributory infringers, they're in the United States, and they're taking it seriously. So this is, I mean, it is serious, and it's, you know, I mean, I hope I've explained that well enough. I keep sort of pausing because there are things that I would like to say, but you know, I really don't want to jeopardize the position, or I don't want to make any threats.
Understood. Yeah. No, you're doing it's translating. Something else that you and I talked about the other day, candidly. This is the maturation, I think, of Web3, kind of how you're talking about Web2 back in the day when you were marketing at the beginning of Web2 and Web1, let's say. It's last bull run we had a whole thing where not being doxxed was okay. Not this sort of anonymity in Web3 was accepted, and and that was sometime. I mean, some could say or argue that was for good reason because crypto wasn't fully legal in these states and skirting tax stuff and whatever. But now with the maturation, with banks accepting crypto, banks offering crypto, governments backing crypto, local governments backing crypto, the push for fully doxing is really important because of stuff like this. In my opinion.
Well, very well said. I mean, the way that I view it is, in order to be taken seriously, and particularly as you say, now that the United States is, you know, starting to paint brighter lines for what is acceptable, what kind of business they want. If people want to do business, if companies want to do business in the United States, if companies want to be taken seriously, and in order for all of Web3 to be taken seriously and ultimately adopted, you know, these laws are in place for a reason. These rules are in place for a reason. Many of them are arcane. That is true. But when it comes to things like, you know, trademark law, it is to avoid consumer confusion. It is to allow brands to invest heavily in promoting a product, in our case, Raise, and not run the risk that we've done all the groundwork and somebody swoops in and rides on the all of that work and takes all of the credit, takes all of the value. You know, you can't imagine a studio, you know, a film studio that comes out that's called Disney's and starts producing animated films, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you know, you can't imagine Jack Daniel coming out as a whiskey brand. There's too much invested in these brands, and these rules exist to protect that investment. It encourages investment, encourages brand identity, and obviously, in this case, as we contemplate rolling Raise out on chain, the consumers are just going to be absolutely devastated when they're buying the wrong token. Um, it can't be accepted. And so, as Web3, you know, if Web3 is going to be accepted, is going to become trillions, you know, tens of trillions, hundreds of trillions of dollars as an industry basis, it needs to mature, as you say. And I'm proud in a way to sort of be leading that charge of saying, you know, because really, you know, it would be one thing if, you know, we're just sitting around doing nothing and like we're opportunists and saying, okay, you know, we really haven't developed this brand at all, and you know, we're looking to extort or exploit, you know, random companies that might, you know, have something similar. This is exactly on point. This is exactly virtual currency in the same space, and uh, uh, to be able to move Web3 into a more mature phase, hopefully to get a lot of publicity around it, and to show that it's not a negative thing. It's not a negative thing to have a multi-billion-dollar company where the top management are doxxed. That gives a lot more confidence. That gives a lot more credibility and credence. And ultimately, investors need confidence. People need confidence to be able to come in and say, I will invest in Solana. I will invest in Solana holding companies, but not if those, the Solana ecosystem is dependent on an entity that violates intellectual property without doxed people and runs the risk of just suddenly one day disappearing. That's not a way to if Solana is going to go up to $1,000 a token or $10,000 a token, they need to come to the real maturity point of saying all of our core structures are transparent. Um, and that's not to say that you don't have the value of distributed ledger and redundancy and global infrastructure. All of that, all of the values of Web3 are upheld. Um, at the same time, you can have responsible parties, people that are out in front saying, like Binance does,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
CZ, I am here. I will take responsibility, and I'm gonna manage this. Shoot, we're late. Let's give some money away.
I know. I got someone
Sorry.
picked. I got someone picked. You're good. It's good. Yeah, good example. Caesar's a funny example, but it's a real one.
Right.
Okay, so with that being said, we are on our second giveaway. If you're just joining us here, we do 3 giveaways every space every week. We already given some Uther away thus far. We're on our second prize today. So if you're listening, the second prize winner, and if you haven't entered it, just tuning in after this, we will reiterate how you can enter for the grand prize at the end of the show. Again, if you're just tuning in. So second place prize, excuse me, is, drum roll please, at Helibreak, HELIBREAKK. Heli, congratulations, you have won our second prize of Uther today. Please DM us here at Otherverse to coordinate your winnings. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
Nice to see a bunch of new people here and people taking interest, and obviously with now we're really closing in on 3,000 unique wallet holders. I think we crossed that benchmark here pretty soon. If you win your Uther, maybe make sure you hold on to that, because oh boy, the
Yeah.
next few months
Also,
are going to be
yep.
insane.
Also, the altcoin and Bitcoin just had a golden cross. So if you follow crypto, I mean, that I think that happened about 10 minutes ago. So
Hey.
that's a big deal for altcoins, which we technically are a utility altcoin. Okay, so you want to take some more questions here?
Yes, want to take some questions. And I suppose I should reiterate, now that we're well into the space. If you want to give a helping hand, I would really appreciate it. Please take a look at my last posts, particularly the pinned posts, where we're really trying to get the attention of Raydium management. Let me pitch this win-win-win solution to them, and let's really take everything to the next level. If you could repost, if you
Yeah.
could comment, if you could
Yeah.
like,
Let's
that
do
will get
that
it.
real quick. Let's do that real quick, Brian.
Okay.
I just put it on into the bird's nest here up at the top. If you guys are listening, let's go ahead and give that tweet a raid, or that post a raid. Go to that post, the Brian Shuster post, tag at Radium Protocol, repost it. Let's get their attention, because the next steps, like if you're listening to this, the next steps after this, if they do not respond, are going to be more, I guess, consequential, you could say, Brian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
believe me, the next steps. I mean, I really don't want to take them, but I instructed the lawyers. I gave my go ahead today, and
So
that's
yeah,
probably why I probably won't make another announcement today. We'll stick with yesterday's because
yeah,
what's
yeah.
coming is,
It's
I don't know. It
real.
breaks my heart. I really like Raydium. I really think they're solid. I just, that you can't bury your head in the sand.
Yep, yep. So let's all do ourselves a favor and on behalf of the entire crypto community. Please let's go, especially if you're on Solana. Go to the post at the top, Brian Shuster. Go to that, tag that post with Raydium at Raydium Protocol. Tag at Brian Shuster at Otherverse. Retweet that, repost that. Let's get this out to the masses because it's going to be really important for us. And it's the maturation of the of Web3. So we appreciate all of your participation.
Great. All right. Well, with that said, let's take some questions.
Yeah, I've got some hands that have been up for a minute here. So Zaga, I believe you were the first one that put your hand up. If you want to ask Brian a question, go right ahead.
Thank you very much. I'm audible.
Yep.
Okay. My question is on issue of sustainability. So I want to know those things put in place for the sustainability of your token. Thank you.
I'm not sure I really understand what you're asking here.
Okay, I asked on the issue of sustainability of UTHR token.
Right. Sustainability.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess let's see if this answers your question. The Uther token is a utility token. It is the token which is used throughout the Xeon browser platform, which is of course our metaverse browser, our next generation virtual world web browser. And as new users come on, we often talk about social hash rate. As new users come on, they get plugged into the economy and the ecosystem. They're buying things, they're earning Wuther or Uther. It's used for tipping, it's used for hiring DJs, it's used for buying clothing, or you receive it if you're a clothing designer and you sell clothing. It's used throughout the entire economy of metaverse. So the idea behind the token, of course, is that users are going to continue to grow. As each new user comes on board, it increases the social hash rate. And our social hash rate is, the an exponential increase in the number of potential locus of transactions. So the number of users grows, the number of potential transaction recipients grows exponentially. And as this happens, the token is designed to be deflationary, is designed such that it will increase in value over the lifetime of the usage, which really is essentially the lifetime of the internet. So we're designed really to be the counterpoint to Bitcoin, where Bitcoin can be store of value, and Uther is the medium of exchange, an easily transactable utility token. It will ultimately run on our layer 2 chain. Layer 2 right now planned on Solana. And that's why we're now selling validator nodes. So we launch at this chain so that every sovereign that comes on board is using this chain for token transactions designed specifically for metaverse, and for our platform in particular. And in that way, the Uther token, the Uther chain are the core. Ultimately, I envision that there's two core tokens, two core coins. It's Bitcoin and Uther. So I hope I addressed the concept of sustainability. I think maybe that's what you had in mind. Kabam! All right.
All right. Sounds like that was the case. Very good. All right. Well, I mean, that sounded cohesive and coherent, and I guess adequate. I mean, and forgive me, everyone listening here. We have a lot of questions, and we have people that are still trying to get up here. So, forgive me if we're cutting these questions a little short or kind of being concise here, because we are trying to get to everyone and respect everyone's time, and we are in the middle of our workday and keeping respect to Brian's time as well. Okay, so next question. I know that. So, Merlin, I know you had your hand up. You have a question for Brian?
Of course. Thank you very much for giving me chance to ask a question. So,
Sure,
my
welcome
question.
up.
All right. My question is that I want to ask, how will the integration of Radium's SDK and Ultiverse technology enable developers to build innovative applications and use cases within the metaverse? So, I need more clarification on that. Thank you.
Well, sure. I mean, assuming that we can come to a deal and we enter into a collaboration, the way that our platform is designed, Xeon is the metaverse browser. It's functions as a web browser, so you will be able to tab browse, flat websites within the existing current World Wide Web. But with our own proprietary protocols, which is the VWW protocol, links can also be accessed, which open a tab or a new window into Metaverse, into our virtual world web. We are designed to be able to host what we call sovereigns. Sovereigns are essentially entire metaverses that are built and maintained by third parties. They just use our technology stack so that they're compatible and the browser will browse there. Users can easily click back and forth between and among sovereigns. So it has this added value of being able to, any sovereign will immediately have access to all of the users on the entire platform. And that also is a component of social hash rate. So it becomes easy to build your own metaverse using our tools to connect that to the system, and then have access to this massive population, this massive community of users. These sovereigns are called sovereigns because they are able to control a huge amount of the look, feel, physics, user interface, avatars, styles. Really, it's a wide latitude to have all kinds of different metaverse types, all accessible through the same browser. And um, uh, part of that is to be able to create your own, um, uh, uh, let's say, systems and code. So Raydium, if we were to enter into a collaboration, would be able to make available their SDKs. Obviously, they would want to develop new SDKs that were compatible within a virtual world and virtual reality environment. But they would just be able to build tool sets for their developers to come into their sovereign potentially, depending on what they want to do with it, and build out. So the sovereign is kind of like a domain. You can think of a sovereign as Google.com, and then if Google wanted to offer a bunch of developers access, they could do this all on subdomains, apps.google.com. Similarly, we're structured in this kind of way. So they would be able to offer regions, they would be able to offer 3D locations or services, and it really expands the capability of any entity that wants to come in and build a sovereign. I mean, if you can imagine the kind of immersive value add that you could have, if somebody's in a VR headset and now they can access a trading floor, now they can access a trade show floor, now they can access meetups. They could collab with other developers, and so many other things that obviously I'm not going to be able to mention in this kind of abridged answer. But it certainly expands. It literally is adding another dimension to their SDKs, right? Go from a two-dimensional SDK offerings to 3D. So that's what I'm hoping for. That's what's on the table.
All right.
Great.
Thank you very much. Thanks for answering my question. Thank you.
Yeah, Merlin, great question. Thank you. All right, Zen. Yeah, we thanks for being patient with us, Zen. Go ahead, Zenda. You have a question for Brian?
Thank you very much. I'm audible.
Welcome up with Brian and Utherverse.
Okay, thank you. My question is on issue of scalability. So I want you to throw more light on the issue of scalability as the number of users in your ecosystem grows. Thank you.
I'm not. Brian, did you catch that?
Did you get my
I'm
question?
not sure I caught that. Brian, are you still there? We may have lost Brian.
Can I ask again?
Yeah. It seems that Brian is having some technical difficulties here. But before you do, Brian, are you able to speak, Brian? We don't hear you. Looks like we've lost Brian here. All good, no worries. Yeah, he left. He's gonna come right back. Okay, there we go.
Well, that's how the cookie crumbles on Twitter Spaces sometimes.
Death, thanks for popping up, man. Welcome everyone, Death Division, our security mod.
Hey guys, how you doing? Hope you're all having a great day. It's a beautiful day here in Australia. The sun's just cracking over the sky, and the charts are looking bullish. If you guys haven't seen, we do have a little thing I did. I did a bit of analysis, a quick little one the other day on UTHR. We're getting some really strong movement in the chart. I'll break it down for you in case you haven't seen it. So we had a natural bottom out at 0.024. It's a very solid bottom out there. It showed a lot of strength coming back up from the dips. We broke the resistance, guys. We broke the 0.03 resistance, and we're still holding strong above that. We hit up to 0.037, had a natural retest. We still stabilized back at that 0.032 range, so looking like a good 0.03 floor, which is nice to see. And then, yeah, our next resistance levels we're testing is in that 0.04 to 0.045 range, which I think we should naturally break pretty easily. So that has been good. It's looking strong. Our chart's looking great, which is nice to see. I absolutely love it. And yeah, we've got nearly 3,000 holders that are holding strong right now. So we're definitely bottomed out all of the paper hands, and now we've got a good, strong community holding hard, which is beautiful. All the charts at the moment are taking a bit of a retest. Everything's pretty much down 80% from the all-time high.
Yeah.
But not a lot are moving upwards, which we are seeing, which is really good. I'm very, very happy with that.
Yeah, it's great, and I think today a little bit of the shakeout was that Wilfi situation. I'm sure you saw.
Yeah. That was intense. I mean, I bought into that ages ago,
I
and
thought about it. I'm glad. I mean, are you glad you did? Still.
I am and I am not. Like, it was good when I missed out on the dollar sale. It dropped at $1, and then it instantly retraced down to like 0.3. But it didn't go great. I didn't like how they did it. They've done lockup allocations, for instance.
Yeah.
So I only got like a quarter of my tokens, and then I get the other 3/4 over the next so often. So it's interesting. It shows that even though you have large funding and large money, the Web3 space isn't really keen for it, or it doesn't matter. It's how you deliver. It's how you promote. It's how you show to the Web3 communities that you actually are there for them. So it's a lot to learn from what happened there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Facts. Brian,
Wow.
welcome
So
back.
I thought that I had lost you. I spent 10 minutes talking and asking you or Anna to DM me on Slack. And finally I heard from you, and it's like you lost me.
Yeah.
So,
Zenda had asked, and you kind of just went silent. But all good. Welcome back.
all good.
We had
Thank
Death
you,
up here.
Dad, for filling in.
Yeah, we were just talking about the state of the market right now.
Yeah. Well, should I take some more questions now that I've recovered?
Yeah. Zenda, if you want to ask Brian again now that we got him back, please feel free.
Okay, thank you very much. Brian, welcome
Thank
back.
you.
My question was on the issue of scalability. So I want you to elaborate more on it as a number of users in your ecosystem grows. Thank you.
Yeah, right. So, we're architected to be able to scale unlimited. The objective of Xeon is to become the platform that is the next layer of the internet. So, regular listeners know that I was very involved in the very first, World Wide Web version 1. I introduced advertising and commercialized the web basically. I was very involved in Web 2, social media. I developed the technologies and obtained patents on technologies that, ultimately evolved into things like Reddit and Twitter. And then, as far as Web 3 goes, each layer of the internet subsumed the prior layer of the internet. Web 3, um, at its core, is metaverse. Though I hate that term, I really prefer the term virtual world web, because it recapitulates what took place with the World Wide Web, where anybody could easily build a website. Every website was accessible by a browser. So the same browser is all you need, and you have access to every website, and every website has access to anybody using the browser. We are designed to have that type of global scalability. And the reason why I've been holding back on the real rollout of the software to the masses, is because as we have been stress testing and load testing, we knew that there would be some areas where we needed to see real pressure, and we put artificially massive pressure on our systems to make sure that the internal network bandwidth is under control, that the key API systems and the key sort of communication systems and data packet and relay systems and security systems is a huge one. All can withstand the stress of having multiple millions of users, and ultimately is going to need to handle billions of users on a daily basis. Um, the challenges are much, much greater than the challenges for a website. Obviously, a website can handle many, many people because you don't have this exponential problem of data transfer, meaning one person on a website uses a certain amount of data and system resources. A second person on the website is identical, uses the same, and a third person, it's a linear scale. But when you have users interacting with other users, each time you add a user, that user needs to be able to connect with every other user on the system. That is that's an exponential scale. And so, this poses unique challenges. My team and I, of course, have a lot of patents in the space, and we've worked through and solved a lot of these data flow problems. But putting it into practice, we needed to kick the tires and really see what the stress tests are going to produce. Because I have a feeling that when we really release what we've got, it could grow massively and rapidly. I mean, there's no reason why we can't be the size of, Roblox, almost overnight. And if that turns out to be the case, we don't want anybody experiencing problems where, that okay, things are crashing, or things don't work, or there's a security issue. So we've spent a lot of time in the last month, particularly, making sure that we could scale to massive numbers of users. And we're just about done with those, stress tests and sort of fixes and improvements to the network. And then ultimately, the vision here is to be able to scale up to hundreds of millions and billions of users. So we have we're paying keen attention to the issues of scalability. That's really what the senior developers and networking teams are working on right now. And all of a sudden, they're going to give me the green light. We'll do some let's break the server parties and events, and then we'll launch out with autumn of music.
Beautiful, beautiful. Um, I think the answer is Zenda. That do you have any follow up to that? I mean, I think that pretty much summed it all up there, Brian.
Yeah, great.
Awesome. All right, so let's just keep it moving.
Thank you
A
very
lot
much.
of questions here. If you had any quick questions and you wanted to ask Brian, please put your hand up. We're going a little bit over, but Brian, as long as Brian's cool with it, we'll keep it rocking here.
Yeah, I'm cool with it. I have to say, I keep getting message from lawyers, but I'd rather do this than that, to be honest. So, give me a good reason to procrastinate.
Sure. Okay, so you know what? We got a few more up here. Where are we at? Got a few connecting. Space Jam, did you have a question for Brian? I brought you up here.
Yeah, thank you so much for bringing me up. So I'm going to be quick about my question. So all know that NFTs attract a lot of investors and users to a platform. But most of the time, these NFTs are susceptible to some kind of risks of or like to being hacked. So what are you doing to mitigate this risk on Zion and Utherverse?
Um, I got a lot of that. Jake,
There was a lot of background noise.
So he was pretty much saying that the NFT system usually comes with a lot of hacks, and that comes in the form of many different ways, including fake NFTs that people
right.
then fall for. What are we doing to mitigate that with Zayon?
Beautiful. So we have built in, but not activated, a system to authenticate NFTs on the platform. So in order to be able to access an NFT that's a third-party NFT, obviously we have minted what we call functional NFTs. We sold trunks. The trunks have opened. People have clothing items and other accessories, apartments, and these types of things, which are functional NFTs. Those are already authenticated, of course. In order to bring in NFTs from other collections, the collection is going to need to contact us to basically authenticate. Once a chain and a collection on a chain, a project has authenticated with us, then those NFTs will be able to be ultimately, I should say, that this system, as I said, is not active yet. It's part of the possessions system. But in the possessions system, you'll be able to decorate with, display NFTs from these authenticated collections. You'll be able to put them up in your shop, put them up in your home or your airplane or your private yacht. And the metadata will indicate that this has been an authenticated NFT, that it is owned by the user. There are some, tricks to that, like accessing the blockchain repeatedly to make sure that the owner hasn't put the NFT up in their space and then sold it. But the worst case, there'll be a few minutes where it will display as authenticated to that user when it's actually owned by somebody else on transaction. We may be able to resolve that entirely. We haven't really focused on this system in a little bit. But the metadata stuff is really cool. The way it displays in the possession system is really cool. Sort of a golden frame that indicates it's authentic, it's owned, and if it's functional, then you'll be able to use it, wear it, access, use the access or permissions that it's got within either our metaverse or the project's sovereign. So I look at our platform, and particularly the Xeon browser, as potentially giving life back to the NFT industry. I've said forever, from the beginning of NFTs, that this is going to come with a crash, because it's so easy to fabricate. It's so easy to have a counterfeit. But once it goes through what we call an access control layer on something like a metaverse, then we are able to authenticate. And even if it's, if there's a duplicate on another chain, it just won't come into the metaverse. It won't be able to be displayed or used. So I look at, the value that we're going to add back to these NFT collections once this goes live. And, it's on the roadmap for development, as I say, along with the possession system. It's been spec'd out, and I've already seen a lot of the work that's been done on it. So it's exciting.
Great. Yep. That's great. Well, okay, so we're at 312. You want to take a few more here, Brian?
Sure. I can take a
I
couple
got a
more.
really simple one here. So we have some node purchasers from the node sale last week, the pre
Right.
sale. They haven't received invoices, and I think this is kind of what you're speaking to. Do you know when they're going to receive invoices?
So please check spam. I've heard this from a number of people, and I thought that it was all resolved this morning. But if you have not received an invoice, I would say, maybe reach out on what platform, Jake? Discord, and I'll get that.
Yeah. Or if it's you and you're messaging us here on X, that's fine too. Either one is fine.
Yeah. I know, I was really working diligently to make sure that everybody was kept informed. Um, it doesn't surprise me that there were some people that were, that slipped through the cracks. But I do want to resolve that for you right away. So yeah, reach out and we'll get you in touch with support. They'll get you the proper invoice, and we get it taken care of.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Okay, very good. All right, so we have a few more here. Space Jam, did you have a question for Brian? All right, we're gonna move along just because time is of
Sure.
the essence of
No,
the.
I think that's all for now. He has explained what I needed to know. So, bullish on you guys. I'm gonna be keeping my eye on you. I'm bullish about your ecosystem. So, yes, man, let's do this. Let's build this. Let's make a fantastic metaverse that everyone will love and enjoy and have fun. Thank you so much for always indulging with us every week, guys. Thank you.
You got it. Great
You
question.
got it. Thanks, Space.
All right, DJ Bull, I brought you up. You have a question for Brian here?
I do. You hear me?
Yep.
Sure do.
Welcome up.
Awesome. Some nodes. I knew literally nothing about nodes. I picked up 2 nodes, so I'm doing a lot of research. A lot of it's mind blowing. But the question is, you had said that Brian, that there was somewhere to check to see what the worth is, or how much it can produce. Where exactly is that?
So there is not a page currently which describes that entirely. The nodes return forever. The nodes return 25% of the transaction fees that are generated by the chain that will be launching, the Uther chain. But in addition, there are allocated 120 million Uther tokens in our tokenomics that will be distributed to node holders over the course of 5 years on a monthly basis as a bonus. So this is where, if the value of Uther ends up, I won't give a number, but let's say much higher, those bonus tokens can become ridiculously valuable. That has been described only in meetings and discussions and shows that we've done. But that information is going to be made available once the pre-sale actually goes live. So not the pre-sale for insiders like all of you, but the actual pre-sale, and then there'll be more formal materials on the nodes. But you heard it here. It's part of the tokenomics. 120 million tokens, 50,000 nodes. So it allocates Uther tokens every month as a bonus. In addition, so this really keeps everybody happy while the chain is ramping up, and the transaction volume on the chain is ramping up. And then over time, there's 25% of the transaction the transaction revenue is allocated to the validator nodes. So imagining that we've got tens of thousands of tokens for sovereigns that are running on these validator nodes, that's a pretty massive potential. But I appreciate DJ Bull that you picked up a couple. I'm happy to have a long-standing community member participate in, of course, what I expect to be quite a lucrative area, shall we say.
Sure.
Hey,
Very
so
good.
so
Yeah.
Jake, even if we're going to take more questions, we should probably give away the grand prize so we don't keep people hanging on.
Yep, sure thing. Sure thing. All right. So we have our third and final grand prize of the day. We give away 3 prizes every week here on other versus weekly X Space. So we announce them here live. Let me just get through here. I haven't picked one yet, so let me just do this. We use xpicker.com to make sure it's fair and equal.
While you're doing that, I'll make a couple of housekeeping announcements.
Great.
While we were talking about nodes, of course, I had our webmaster put up a link to be able to participate in the pre-sale. It's at the top of otherverse.io. And of course, if you tuned in last week, what we always do is we double your prize if you win. So make sure you come next week, and if you win, you get double. Uh, uh, always fun when I'm sending tokens to people and I see that they got double the prize.
Yeah, it's be a 2x multipliers. Beautiful. Okay, thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. Taking over here. So I have a winner, and the grand prize winner of today is Spooky893 at Spooky893. Congratulations, you are the grand prize winner. Please go ahead and DM us here on Otherverse X account, and we will coordinate your grand prize with the potential of a 2x multiplier. Congratulations.
Well, awesome! Congratulations.
This is our biggest space yet, Brian.
Yeah. Well, it's great to see it growing every week, and rightly so. I mean, the number of wallets is growing. The number of users of the platform is growing. We really. I mean, we're at the launch pad at this point, taking off. So, but it is definitely great to see all these, new people, old people, and uh, throwing around some, throwing around some money.
Love it. Beautiful. Yeah, congratulations to all the winners today. Great questions, everybody. I don't see any more hands raised or any more questions here. I think we got them all out of the way. Is there anything you want to wrap up with today, Brian?
Just appreciate everybody's attention, appreciate all the help. I know there's so much potential. There's so much potential in a collaboration. So if we all get behind this, I mean, it's going to happen one way or another. It's the easy way or the hard way. Hopefully the right people get the right attention and the right message, and it's the easy way, because it's so much better when it's all positive energy and working together to boost up all the ships instead of going to war. So your help is greatly appreciated, and I'm excited. Boy, it could happen any day where I just get the word that all the stress tests are green lit and the platform goes. So holding my breath, but we'll see what the future holds next week.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Brian, for your time and answering all the questions of the community. Thank you all to the community. Thank you to everyone, all the new listeners, all the standing community, all the longtime holders, and making this happen. We are just getting started, ladies and gentlemen. Again, thank you all so much, Brian. Thank you, my friend.
Thanks, Jake. Great space.
Another great space, and we're growing. Make sure you're sharing Otherverse. We're about to just take off here with the altcoin season. With that being said, we will see you all next week here on X Spaces. Have a great day.